Sports stories from the 419 in Northwest Ohio, brought to you by a voice you know. It's time to go around the area and around the Hearn.
Hello there, and welcome into a new edition of Around the Hearn. Big things to get to, including Ohio State Buckeyes signee Colin White, coming off a weekend in which he not only had monster dunks, 4 buzzer beaters on Saturday night, and the one that mattered most, the buzzer beater to end the ball game, and just kind of the excitement in that building while the OG Titans are making that run is just something else. Sounds a little bit like this. 4 hours. OG's going to need one. White with a steal, looking for Slam Town. Population, Colin White. And we're tied at 56. To be in that building while that's happening against a terrific and state-ranked Highland team is just something else. I mean, that game continues to ebb and flow. The Titans lead 2-0. They come back. They aren't really able to go anywhere, and for a long time, again, Highland kind of controlled that game. They came in, shot the lights out, and nearly put a stop to that ball game early on, but OG was able to persevere despite the fact that it took a complete team effort on that side, and eventually Colin White was able to come up with the game winner.
But I'm telling you, there's just something to me, 8.7 seconds, and I think this is going to be Erford.
I think we're probably going to see something with Erford and White and screening together.
There's White in the backcourt, down to 8.3. Walks it across the line with 6, down to 5 and 4. Pulls up 3 for the win. And it rolls in.
And then, of course, at the end of that, there's this very weird sequence where they put .9 back on the clock, and Highland throws the ball in. OG picks it off, and that's pretty much the end of that. But that was just the start of a handful of big games on the weekend. Also, in another game that was going on, the Delphos St. John's Blue Jays got 41 from sophomore Cam Elwer. He became the 15th Blue Jay to join the 1,000-point club. Oh, yeah, and his Jays needed every single one in a 65-60 win over Spencerville on Saturday. By doing so, Elwer is just insane to get to that point. It's the 5th highest scoring output by a St. John's Blue Jay. 41 points is the 5th highest. Just think about that. But he also broke 1,000 points scoring club in his sophomore year. Halfway through his sophomore year. Just want to let that sink in. Other games of the area. Cardinal Stritch lost by 20 to Pedro Gaboa. Why? Last night on the girls' side, Ava Huffman said ball game owned by me. 27 points in the game for her. Same thing happened. Spencerville last week. Heidi Keller hit 8 threes. She's already had multiple games where she's hit 6 or 7. She had a career-high 30 points on the way to a Bearcat win. Gracie Freiberger, now the all-time leading scorer at Shawnee. She's over 1,500 points, had a career-high 37 last weekend. A big congratulations to all these kids, and also to a young lady who just picked up her 1,000th point in college in Ivy Wolf. Did it in style. Polls on the state side, not as much as what we've had the last handful of weeks. Why? Because pretty much everybody's beating each other up. Finley is 5th on the boys' side in D1. OG got 4 first-place votes. They are number 2 on the D3 scale. Tri-Village, Wayne Trace, 8 and 9, Bluffton 11. That's a team that's going to be really dangerous next week when the draw comes out a week from this coming Sunday, which happens to be the day of some kind of football game or something. Archbold is 13th. D4 side, I thought this was fascinating. Russia remained unbeaten with a drubbing of Versailles on Saturday night by 29. They stay number 1. Toledo Christian and LCC are tied for 2nd. That would be a matchup. St. John's 11th, Antwerp 13th. Girls side D1, a little further out. How's my wife's alma mater, Strongsville? Shout out to the Mustangs. Number 10 in Division 1. The Bryan girls are number 7 in D2. And by the way, speaking of D2, Toledo Central Catholic should be ranked. They're very good. Just a personal observation. D3 girls have got the OG girls 2nd. Liberty Center in the 8th spot. D4, who else but Fort Loramie, number 1 after a 26-point win and a 20-2 second quarter against Bath on a Saturday at home. Crestview 4th. Shout out to the Knights. They had a 71-15 win last week over Van Wert. Tri-Village in the 6th spot. WBL Swim and Dive Championships this past weekend. Shawnee boys, OG girls, number 1 and 2, or number 1 in the top 2 spots. OG finished second on the boys' side. They were first on the girls' side, obviously, like I said. St. Mary's goes 2 for the girls' side, 3 for the boys' side, and then Wapak sneaks in there on the girls' side in 3rd. Girls wrestling had the St. Mary's girls finish 15th out of 60 schools last weekend. Rosalind Case was 5th. Danielle Hoskins just missed the podium in 8th. And a handful of kids signing recently. Alex Kesson at Ohio University. The St. John's Blue Jay. She's going to have a terrific career. Jack Kanapke is going to go to Ohio State and throw anything he can find down there. Caleb Gavis decided to play football at Concordia. And Caden Berry from Parkway said he's going to pitch at Defiance. One piece of high school football news. Alan Pullman, the new head coach at Jefferson, after being an assistant for the last handful of years. Individual champions on the swim side. 200-yard medley relay went to St. Mary's. A couple of triplets, a McLean and a Lupke with the win there. Reese Triplet then came back and won the individual. Jackson Newcomb from Salina won the 50 free. Luke Hertenstein is the 1-meter diving champ from St. Mary's. Gavin Lupke, the 500-yard free. St. Mary's came back again. Different set of guys with the triplets, really. Kleinschmidt is the only one who was different. 200-yard free relay won by the Rough Riders. Newcomb comes back, wins the 100-yard breast. OG boys, Alex Schrader, Parker McGraw, Grady Steffen, and Colin Steffen all win the 400 free relay. 200-yard medley relay won by the St. Mary's girls. Sierra Rupert, Piper Triplet, Peyton Gable, and Claire Turner. Rupert comes back, wins the 200-yard free. OG's Alicia Deemer won the diving contest. Claire Turner from St. Mary's, the 100-yard free. The OG team of Elena Cass, Morgan Mag, Taylor Knott, and Carly Mag win not only the 200-yard free relay, but also the 400-yard free relay. And then Piper Triplet wins the 100-yard breaststroke. And big congratulations to all of those kids on doing big things. And speaking of doing big things, we're also going to talk a lot about OG basketball with Colin White, the future Ohio State Buckeye. He joins when we come back here on Around the Hearn.
The Scoop on Main in Glandorf, serving breakfast, lunch, and sweet treats all year long. We are open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Friday from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Saturdays are 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. and Sundays are noon until 8. We have a great option of lattes and specialty drinks. We feature a monthly special lunch, and we have soup seasonally.
The Scoop on Main at 419-538-5555. That's The Scoop on Main at 136 South Main Street in Glandorf.
Talking it now to the all-time record holder for points in Ottawa Glandorf and Putnam County history in Colin White. Does that still sound a little bit surreal to you?
It does. You know, you never really think you'd be the all-time leader in Putnam County, but it's a pretty cool thing.
You're standing out on the court after you break the record Friday night, and Tim Politz is standing there, and he hands you a baton and kind of a passing of the baton sort of thing from him to you. You're just old enough to kind of be on the back end of that whole era where they play LeBron in Toledo and they win the state title, and he's this big central figure before he heads off to a D1 college. What is that moment like for you, other than being exhausted, because I saw your face, of standing next to him while everybody's cheering and you're just kind of looking around, just seeing everybody you know?
You know, like you said, it's a surreal moment. You know, I didn't know Tim was going to be there, and I'm glad he could come. But you know, it was awesome. You know, for him to be there, and you know, for him and myself to talk after the game and just talk about our experiences and you know goals we're trying to get to this year. So. You know, I appreciate him coming, and it was a really cool moment.
And that was something I was thinking of kind of as the game was going on, of as you're going along, I mean, with you averaging almost 25 points a game, you have to go through a tight defense. It's going to be countered on you because you know Van Wert knows where you're at. You need less than 20 points in that game. How kind of pushing, I guess, were you feeling early on? Because you only had 4 points at the half. You go on that big run to open the third. Did you feel like maybe you were trying to do too much in the first half, or was it we just need to let this come?
It was kind of just a let this come type thing. It's just trying to find open teammates. They were kind of bringing in 2 or 3 guys at me, so trying to find the open person and just knocking down shots. We really weren't knocking down shots early, but on the third there, I got some open looks and got a couple of easy layups and kind of propelled towards a bigger point total.
Did you get a chance at any point kind of on this line to talk to Tim or any of the guys in front of you of, there's a lot of obviously Fort Jennings, Audubon, OG, Miller City in that group and Drew Johnson at PG of kind of what that pressure's like of becoming that guy at your school and maybe how to handle it?
It's kind of a thing that you don't really talk about. It's kind of looming. Going into this year, I obviously know I had a shot at it, and just staying healthy I'd probably get it. So you knew it was looming, and that hopefully one day it was going to come around, and it came to be Friday night. So you really still didn't talk about it with anyone, and kind of kept it to yourself. And I really didn't even know the point total at all until Friday night. I knew obviously there were rumors throughout the week, and I had no clue how many points I needed until Coach told me, and just had to get it done.
Was it kind of more fun to do that or to pass Tyson because you have to actually see his face and go, all right, well, I got one more?
No, it definitely was way more fun to do this than to pass Tyson because, me and him, I don't think have not spoken about me passing him. So, maybe we'll have that conversation.
Someone asked me about kind of where your place in history is too, and I kind of laugh because I'm big on numbers and just kind of ridiculous, weird things nobody comes up with. And I jokingly said to them, well, yeah, but he's really only third in Putnam County because Shar Smith and Carla Wenslick are ahead of him. They just kind of laughed, but you're able to put yourself in just kind of an elite company of scorers. What is it about your game, though, that people don't know? Because the Crescent News does an article talking about your all-around game and kind of how that works.
People don't really realize that I do a lot more than score. I do the kind of an everything role for my team and have been for the last couple of years. And my teammates and coaches really allow me to do that. The ball is in my hand a lot. It's just a lot of opportunities to find open teammates and to score. And my coaches and teammates, put me in that position. And then obviously I'm pretty tall, pretty lengthy. So going after offensive rebounds or getting defensive rebounds, something my mom harped on a lot when I was younger and now even to this day. So just an all-around game is really what coaches preached and my parents have preached growing up.
Do you kind of akin rebounding to trying to get the last pork chop in your house? You got to box out and you just got to go in strong?
Yeah, it's a fight. It's gonna be a battle, and the tough ones are gonna come out, and I like to think I'm one of the tough ones.
Friday night, you get 2 different ovations for obviously what you did when you broke the record, but I thought kind of an underrated point of that game was early on when Dave Westrick checks in. Was it as loud on the floor when that happened about 5 minutes into the game as it was in the crowd?
It was loud in it. And before the game, I told all the teammates that when Dave comes in, we got to get excited for him. And the fans reciprocated that energy. And when he came in, everyone got super loud. They all stood up. And, that guy has worked so hard to come back from an injury like that, constant grinding every day, just trying to get in shape, trying to get that knee healthy. And, I'm so happy for him to come back. And, he came back the first play of the game. He got a basket. So, that's just stuff out of a book right there, and it was awesome seeing back out there.
Scott Mag and Chris Coleman, decently smart basketball guys, I'm not going to give them a whole thing, have pointed out to me that while his contributions on the offensive end are huge, obviously you guys needed every point on Saturday, but with a guy like Dave Westrick, what is it that is his importance to your defense? Because they talk about a lot of giving you guys that rim protector that maybe now – on the perimeter takes a little bit of a pressure off Alex or Grant or Grady or you or Caden.
It helps a lot having a big guy down there that's, going to be back there and going to be help sided to send shots back. That's a big help. It's kind of a comfort thing for our guards. And, for me and for Caden, we've kind of had that role for the last, couple weeks, since the season has started of being that rim protector. And now Dave coming in, he can kind of be that guy in the back line who can and send shots away and then, grab rebounds, which is big for us. He can get in there, grab 6 or 7 rebounds, grab some O boards. That's huge for us and, something we really need.
I kind of go back to this because it's kind of one of a million things that happened during the game. But when you kind of get to that mark and you're able to accomplish this thing that your teammates over the years have helped you and you've been able to get these points and win these games, after you get that off your back, so to speak, that you have that big accomplishment, did you feel a little more relief the last part of Friday night before you checked out and then kind of going into Saturday, just kind of, okay, now I can go back to play my normal game?
It's definitely Friday was kind of a tense day. Nothing we're not used to, but, kind of knew that that was looming and, everyone is going to be in attendance on Friday night. So you better get it Friday, Colin, is what I heard a lot. But, yeah, just getting that off the back. And then Saturday was just, kind of refocusing. Friday was a weird night, obviously kind of out of the routine for a regular Friday night WBL game. So then coming back Saturday with a new focus and, trying to win a game against a really good team.
I would imagine you better get it done was probably just your sister.
Yeah, pretty much. My parents and my sister pretty much said, hey, you have to do this.
I was kind of amazed that Saturday your parents were sitting together for the Highland game.
That doesn't happen a lot. Usually they're separate, but no, they were sitting together.
How many pictures did you have to take before you got out of the gym on Friday?
A lot. They kept it to a minimum, but it was at least 30 plus.
It's got to be a cool thing, though, because, obviously there's a lot of people who are invested in what you're doing and what Ottawa Glandorf's doing, and as far as it has that effect on the community, that they want to be around you and be a part of that moment that you've achieved.
Yeah, it's so cool. And this community is second to none in Ohio and even, I'd say anywhere else. You go anywhere else, you don't get this kind of support that this community provides. And, they welcomed me with open arms when I came in as a freshman, and they've cheered me and my teammates on for the past couple of years like no one else. So, they're great. This community the Titan basketball wouldn't be anything without the community. So it's a special feeling to have them behind you.
I've often wondered, do you and Caden, whether secretly or not, have a competition of who can end the most quarters with a make? Because it seems like when he gets one, you get one. When he gets two, you get two. And then, of course, you went all out on Saturday night and just did it to the end every quarter.
No competition. It just seems to happen where we have the ball at the end of the quarters a lot, and we got to take a shot. And luckily, some of them have been going in.
Well, and the second quarter one, to me, is the craziest one of the group for Caden on Friday night because it didn't start out as his shot. Grady had a shot. He got blocked. It sort of turns back around, and he buries one. And we just kind of joked trying to figure out how many Caden had. And then, of course, I think you had 5 on the weekend. So, it's just an insanity of you need a big shot. One of these two guys is going to put it down.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. And, like I said, the ball finds our hands a lot at the end of quarters. So just putting them down and it's big going into the next quarter. A lot of momentum. Momentum builders are what we need. So seeing them shots go down is a pretty good feeling.
But the one in the second quarter last night was kind of really odd in terms of the way that the game flowed because you get your team within 2. About 30 seconds before that, from my vantage point, maybe you can speak on this, there is a charge/blocking decision that the officials have to make. It does not go your way. They get the ball, they come back, they don't score, you hit the 3. Was there kind of a feeling of the way that you had been building up? You're down 13 in that quarter at that point. You run back of it taking the air out of your sails?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's it was a weird feeling, but it was a nice feeling heading into the next quarter. Kind of a momentum thing where, we needed some momentum. We were struggling to hit shots and had open looks. Just none of them would go down. And, I felt like they were hitting about everything. So, those shots, they help us out a lot.
You go through the fourth quarter of last night's game. Alex gets that big three early on. You guys are able to pull within 9. Grady goes off. He has 2 threes and a 2. And I talked to him about his maturation through the last year. What is it that you've seen about Grady Tomazis that I know he's in the gym working hard, and he's alluded to the fact that he uses you as kind of a role model of being there before school and putting that in, but just seeing how he's matured as a basketball player?
He's matured tremendously, even from the beginning of this year. He's when you're a point guard at OG, it's not an easy task. You kind of get the reins and the reins to the offense and in the defense. So, it's not an easy task for anyone. And I feel like he has just been step up into his role more and more every game. And, last night he was huge for us. And, against Lima Senior, he had a great game last week. And so, he has just been stepping up week after week. And to see a progression from a guy that I know has put in a ton of work is more fulfilling to me than anything I can accomplish.
You get the loose ball on the floor. You're able to deflect it. You take off. You throw one down. You tie the ball game. It ends up being 56-56 at the time with about a minute to go. You're kind of on the way. You're just trying to, I would imagine, not dribble it off your foot, not thinking about anything, just trying to beat the Highland player to the basket. Is there a ton going through your mind, or is it just, I need to hurry up and get this basket?
There wasn't a ton going through my mind. I knew we were obviously pressing on defense, trying to get a steal, and they were kind of being a little loose with the ball. So I knew I had a chance, got the steal, and it was real simple for me. It's going to be a dunk. It's going down, and it's going to be a tie ball game. It's just how it was played out in my head while I was running down the court, and luckily that's how it played out.
And you
in
almost
real life too.
Can't script the ending because you guys don't lead except for 2-0. You're down the entire game. You tie it with under a minute to go, and then that ball that you shoot for 3 coming out of the timeout, 30 minutes? Is that how long it felt it hung on the rim?
Yeah, it felt like a really long time. I felt like the world stopped for a little bit there, but, I know the rims pretty well at OG, I guess, so I know the right spots to hit them.
You've probably hit your wrist on quite a few of them.
Maybe that's why they're pretty loose.
That might be why. It's all the hanging around on them. It's either that or T-Max dunking on them. One of the two.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But that matchup, I mean, that's a heck of a win for you guys because there's a turning point in that game with Highland, who's a terrific D4 team, where Alex Yoder gets injured. He's having a good game. He's got, I think, almost double-digit rebounds and 6 points at the half. Did you kind of feel like maybe that swung things a little bit more because it opened up for you guys offensively underneath?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. I felt really bad for him. He's a great player, and he's a big body down there, and he came out of the game, and it's kind of weird feeling, and it kind of opened things up for us, and allowed us to kind of crash the glass a little bit more, get a lot of second chance opportunities, but. That play, I think Cade drew a charge on him, and it kind of knocked Cade up a little bit too. Gave him a little bit of a headache. So, it was a kind of a weird play and a weird couple of minutes where Cade got hurt, had to go to the bench, and then Yoder got hurt and also had to go to the bench. So it was a weird swing of plays there.
Luckily for you guys, it went the right way. Sammy Detweiler last night has 14 early on. You get Schaefer and Campbell as your detail on Friday night. How much fun are those defensive battles that you guys pretty much have every night because somebody always has a guy that you're going to have to go get, whether it's you or Grant or Grady or whoever it is?
It's fun. It's seeing different defenses and then throwing different defenses at people. It's a game within the game. It's us as players, especially us as older players now, me and Grant and Cade, we just try to see things through a different light and try to attack people in different ways, especially on the the offensive end, and then that carries over the defensive end.
You have 3 home games and 3 away games left in your high school regular season career. Is there one of those games I know you don't look forward to, but I mean the 3 games that you have to go to Shawnee Defiance, and then that kind of different atmosphere in Lexington because they're not playing in the small gym, they're kind of playing in the bigger gym. One of those that you kind of look at and go, all right, this is the last time I get to come here. I've really got to enjoy this and kind of soak this in.
Of course, there's there's the Supreme Court, which is a special place. But I love going in and playing in Shawnee's Gymnasium. It's a fun place to play, and their fans are usually pretty rowdy, and the teams are usually pretty good. And that's definitely one that you circle on your schedule every year, and you're like, hey, we got to go play Shawnee this year at their gymnasium. So that's one that's definitely going to be a fun game. Probably going to be a big WBO game. I could see them winning the rest of their WBO games before they play us. So, that's going to be a fun one.
You've got kind of that long view. I mean, you guys aren't that far away from the tournament. The draw's pretty close to where we sit now in 2 weeks. What does OG have to be better on going into what is pretty much a murderer's row district in Lima?
I just think we have to, kind of string it together. We've had some players play good here, some players play good in different games. And so I think as a team, we just got to kind of string a game together and start stringing the games together and kind of pick up momentum going into the tournament run. And, like you said, we got kind of a tough district, but that's just a challenge that we deal with every year. Those districts are tough, but it only makes us better. And, the schedule we play only prepares us for that district. So, we're excited to finish out this regular season strong and head into the tournament.
Of course, it's a fascinating district. I mean, Bluffton's only loss you guys gave to them. You've got Grove, Liberty Benton, Spencerville, and then Wayne Trace that is expected to probably be without Brooks Lockoff for the rest of the year. How heartbreaking is that for you? I mean, being in a similar position of being a high scorer for your team, of being a senior, and obviously a kid that I know you're familiar with, of, he's going to college, he's got the world in front of him, and just that freak thing that happens.
I feel really bad for Brooks. I heard the news, and actually me and Brooks just talked earlier today. He's a great kid and from a great family, and there's nothing you can do but feel for the kid. He's a class act. He's a great guy and a great basketball player, and does a lot for his team. So, just shared a few words of encouragement with them, and we wish each other good luck. And I hope he has a speedy recovery and can kind of get around for the college season next year and heal up. But and you feel for the kid and you feel for Wayne Trace and their program.
Speaking of college, Buckeyes sit at 13-7 right now. I know that you're not impervious to being able to hear everything that kind of goes around with Columbus. I mean, they've got a tremendously talented group, a lot of kids that you've played with and played against, just kind of not able to get over that hump at times. Kind of when you look at Ohio State basketball right now, what is it that jumps out to you?
I just think Ohio State basketball is just one win away, one possession away, one half away from really stringing a lot of wins together and, making some noise in the Big Ten. We're not playing the best right now, and that's kind of expected, kind of in a midseason slump. But we're just one game away from really making some noise and going on a little bit of run. So we're just that little bit away, and I think just hitting some shots and kind of locking in on the defensive end can put them over the hump.
With a lot of guys coming in with you, with that class, with the guys that are there, not to cart before the horse and all that, because you've got obviously a lot of games left and hopefully one final on a Sunday afternoon in Dayton left at OG, but of trading those colors in and playing with a lot of those guys, since you committed, how much closer have you gotten with that group?
That group is special, and they're really close. It's a tight knit group, and they kind of opened their arms up for me and Junie. Welcomed us with open arms, and it's we're coming in and we're excited. I'm really close with a lot of the freshmen, a lot of the sophomores. Those guys they're great guys and great teammates, and so it's a great relationship. Those guys they're really awesome, and I can't wait to get down to Columbus and start working with them.
How much growing up being an Ohio State fan of kind of waiting for that offer, does it impress you with the way that they've kind of, I don't want to say centralized their recruiting, but they've made sure that, okay, there's a kid like Devin Royal. We're not letting him get out of the state. He's coming here.
It's really cool, that they kind of take advantage of kids in Ohio. You know what I mean? You know, people in Ohio love Ohio State, and you know, there's a lot of good basketball players in Ohio. So, you know, they really recruit the state of Ohio hard, and you know, you want to rather have it any other way. You know, that kid's going to give everything for the program. So it's a really special feeling to, you know, be a part of that group, and it's definitely a fun group to be a part of.
I want to ask your coach this for this spring. You got to play in 15 games last year during a baseball season. Are you maybe auditioning to be the mascot this year, or maybe be the third base coach? Because I figure they're probably not going to want you to play a lot of baseball.
I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do yet, but the plan tentatively is to play this year. So that's it. That's going to be the plan tentatively right now.
Well, if not, we can always figure out a way to put a headset down into one of the dugouts, and you can just commentate as it's going along.
There you go. I could do that.
It's insight from inside is how we'll pull that off. It is.
I can be non-biased.
I mean, you know, you got to be a professional. That's how it goes, right?
Yep.
How much fun are you having right now?
Oh man, we're having too much fun. You know, I'm having fun. Our teammates my team's having fun. You know, it's a lot of fun to be an OG Titan right now, as it always is. So, you know, I'm having a lot of fun playing the sport I love.
This kind of came to me because the girls did Youth Titan Day on Saturday before they played at Central Catholic, of having all of the young ladies who will eventually be Titans one day in there. They get autographs. They get to have cookies and juice and kind of be part of that experience. Saturday night after the game, I looked up in the rafters and I saw two young men come up and ask you for your autograph. All the things that you've done this weekend and that has been accomplished by you and by the team, where does that rank of having those little young men come up and say, "Can you sign my basketball?"
You know, that's it's a great feeling for me. You know, it's definitely up there. You know, that's it's one of those things that I cherish. You know, to be a role model to these young kids, and you know, just show them the right things to do, and you know, try to you know, help them in any type of way, and you know, being a role model for them is awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and I want to trade that in for anything. You know, I just the little kids in the community, they really look up to the basketball guys. You know, we want to be like the Titans. You know, just trying to show them the Titan way and the Titan mentality, and you know, just doing things and doing them for the right reasons.
Well, and it's funny because he probably won't like me saying this, but because it dates him. But guys like Noah, where they're playing and guys like Tim Pollitt's obviously last night, but of winning those state titles and being a part of little Colin going up to them and kind of looking up to them of, hey, I want to be like that one day. Do you ever kind of think about that of, all right, it wasn't that long ago that was me. Now maybe I can help inspire someone to be me and be better than me.
Of course, that's I think about it all the time. You know, 2013, I remember it like it's yesterday. I remember that tournament run. I rember TJ Metzger hitting a lot of shots in the state finals. You know,
I think he's still hitting shots in that building.
It seems like it. But I remember just going up to them and asking for an autograph at Glandorf Elementary, and they all of them gave it to me, and you know, it's a great feeling, and you know, and when I'm a kid, I'm looking up to them, saying, man, I want to be like them. So it's something I try to do for little kids now. You know, I want them to look to me, hey, I want to be like them, and hopefully it just keeps getting passed on generation through generation.
Do you still have their autograph somewhere?
I don't know. I hope I do. I think it's in one of my little Titan boxes that my mom saves for us.
That's awesome, because somewhere there is a mom building a little Titan box for a kid for you. I mean, that's still kind of, it's such a neat thing, but it's probably still kind of a surreal thing of, I'm just a kid going out, just kind of doing what I love.
Yeah, just doing what I love, and you know, hopefully inspiring kids along the way.
Well, I have always enjoyed our interactions. I have told people that you're one of my favorite people to cover, because no matter what happens, you're a humble young man that was brought up right, and you don't tell me to go away. I mean, that's happened a couple times with other people. But I wish you all the luck in the world, and whether the rest of the season ends how you want or not, I know you guys are creating memories. I hope it does. But best of luck the rest of the way in Columbus.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you guys covering us, and it's it's definitely been a fun season, and it's going to be a fun end of the season too.
That's OG's Colin White headed to Ohio State. We'll talk some more when we come back here in just a few.
Lee Kinsel Sales and Service, 650 West Urban Road. New Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and all your pre-owned vehicles. We've got an award-winning service department and an award-winning parts department. What a great team. 866 Lee Kinsel, LeeKinsel.com, 650 West Urban Road, Van Wert, Ohio. Come see us and you'll leave happy. There's nothing like a Kinsel deal. We've been in business for over 50 years and looking forward to the next 50. 650 West Urban Road, Lee Kinsel Sales and Service. Come on over, Lima Land.
Big thank you to Colin White for spending some of his time with me on Sunday. What you don't know is it was right before the Lions played. He's a big Lions fan. I'm not quite sure he wants to talk about how that turned out. Dan Campbell doesn't like running the ball or kicking field goals, it would appear. But I'm a Cowboys fan. What do I know? That is what I have for this show. I would really love to be able to feature more from bowling, from swim and diving, from wrestling, things that are going on. If you have those, you can find me on Twitter at Michael Hearn PBP. I have a Facebook page as well for this show, Around the Hearn. My email is pretty public. I've put it out there, mhearn3@gmail.com. And let me know what is going on. I want to talk about these kids. I would love to have some of these kids on. Maybe they're coaches or just anybody who wants to talk about local sports in the area. But thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow wherever you are and wherever you may be. From all of us, that means me, here on Around the Hearn.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Around the Hearn. Come back next week for more local stories from the NWO. But until then, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Michael Hearn PBP for more great area content.